Right now, as you're listening to this, there's something deep inside your mind that is watching you. Every decision you make, every emotion you feel, every pattern you repeat. What if none of it is really yours? What if there was something ancient, something dark, pulling the strings of your thoughts and actions? This isn't a theory, it's psychology. And the man who revealed this hidden force is Carl Jung, a man who forever changed our understanding of the human mind. We all believe we're in control. We assume we're making conscious choices every day. But Jung discovered something terrifying, something most people spend their lives trying to avoid. There are invisible forces deep within you, forces that are older, stronger, and more powerful than you. These forces govern your behavior while you sleep, and most of the time, you don't even know they exist. Jung didn't just study the mind, he dove into the abyss of human consciousness. He explored places no one else dared to, and what he discovered there will change the way you see yourself forever. Born in Switzerland in 1875, Jung's childhood was filled with mystery, surrounded by religious symbols, ancient rituals, and unexplained phenomena. He always sensed that there was something more, something deeper than what people typically saw. Initially, Jung became Freud's brightest student, but he wasn't content with Freud's simple answers. Freud believed that everything could be explained by sex and repression, but Jung saw more. He saw the layers beneath, the ancient patterns that have been shaping human behavior for millennia. Freud examined your past. Jung looked at humanity's past. Freud focused on your personal trauma, while Jung uncovered collective trauma, the shared wounds we all carry, the repeating patterns we all follow, and the archetypes that possess us without our knowledge. It was this fundamental difference that led to their split. Jung had gone too deep, seen too much. He created a completely new approach to psychology, analytical psychology, a way of understanding the human soul that goes far beyond symptoms and quick fixes. Jung believed in integration, not elimination. He didn't want to simply cut out your problems. He wanted you to understand them, embrace them, and make them conscious. Because the true enemy isn't your pain, it's your unconsciousness. Most people believe that the thoughts and emotions they experience are personal, that their fears, desires, and behaviors are unique to them. But Jung uncovered something completely different, a truth that changes how we understand ourselves. Your so-called personal consciousness is just the surface. Below it lies something far more powerful and expansive, the collective unconscious. This is not a metaphor or an abstract concept. It is a real psychological layer of the mind, one that is shared by every human being who has ever lived, and it carries with it ancient symbols, archetypes, and patterns that influence us in ways we cannot fully understand. Imagine your mind as a small island. Everything you've experienced, your childhood, your relationships, your traumas, the lessons you've learned, rests on that island. This is your personal unconscious, a mental world shaped by your unique life experiences. But beneath that island, stretching out as far as the eye can see, lies a vast ocean, the collective unconscious. This ocean is not yours alone. It is a shared realm, filled with the energy of humanity's collective experience. It contains the fundamental patterns, symbols, and stories that have been passed down through generations. These symbols and archetypes are not just remnants of the past. They are living forces that still shape who you are and how you move through the world today. The most fascinating part of Jung's discovery is that this ocean of the collective unconscious is not confined to ancient history or mythology. It continues to shape your life today, whether you're aware of it or not. Think about the stories, myths, and archetypes that exist in different cultures, spanning thousands of years and continents. How is it that cultures so far apart, both in time and space, create such similar narratives? The hero's journey, the wise old man, the great mother, the shadow villain, these stories are universal. They aren't coincidences. They are reflections of the collective unconscious at work. When you feel the need to belong to a group, to be loved, to fit in, you are tapping into an ancient pattern shared by all of humanity. The emotions and fears that you feel, your fear of abandonment, your sense of being lost or alone, are not just personal struggles. They are connected to something deeper and older than you. the images that come to you in your dreams, the fears that arise when you feel out of control. These too are symbols that have haunted humanity for centuries. Dreaming of falling, being chased, or losing your teeth are not random or meaningless. They are powerful symbols that live in the collective unconscious. These images are not just dream fragments. They are messages from a deeper part of your psyche, a psyche that is connected to the shared experience of every human being. You can choose to ignore these symbols, these forces, but they will not ignore you. They will continue to shape your life in ways you don't fully understand until you learn to dive into the ocean of the collective unconscious and swim in its depths. This is where the real challenge lies. Understanding that there are invisible forces that shape your behavior, your choices, and your relationships without your permission is the first step toward freedom. These forces don't just control you from afar. They are living within you, pulling the strings, dictating your actions, and they do so in ways you are completely unaware of. But what exactly lives in this ocean of the collective unconscious? What are these invisible forces that influence you without your consent? Jung called them archetypes. These are the universal patterns and symbols that reside deep within the psyche. They are not learned or constructed. They are inherited and innate. And one of the most dangerous and powerful archetypes that lives inside you is the shadow. Let's dive deeper into one of the most powerful and destructive forces that lives within us all, the shadow. Have you ever had an outburst of anger and thought to yourself, "That wasn't me"? Or have you ever done something you regret deeply but couldn't explain why you did it? Maybe you felt jealousy, rage, or shame and quickly pushed those feelings away.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Your feedback means a lot, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts.
Trying to ignore them as though they don't belong. Congratulations, you've met your shadow. The shadow is everything about yourself that you've rejected. It's the part of you that you refuse to acknowledge, the parts of you that don't fit with the persona you've created for yourself, the mask you wear for the world. It's the selfishness, the cruelty, the weakness, the vanity, and the darker impulses that you try to hide from others, and sometimes even from yourself. It's the neglected child inside you, the teenager who learned to suppress their true feelings, the adult who smiles on the outside while dying inside. It's the ugly truth you can't bring yourself to face. But here's the brutal truth. Everything you deny about yourself doesn't disappear. It doesn't go away. It goes underground. It hides in the recesses of your mind, growing stronger, more insistent, and more powerful. And while it may remain hidden for a time, it doesn't stay quiet forever. Eventually, it breaks free. And when it does, it shows up in ways that can wreak havoc on your life. It manifests in your judgments of others, in the anger that seemingly comes from nowhere, in the self-sabotage that strikes at the worst possible moment. It shows up in the voice in your head that tells you that you're not good enough, that you're unworthy, that you don't deserve happiness. The more you deny the shadow, the more dangerous it becomes. The more you convince yourself that you are a good person, the more you push the shadow down, the more likely it is that it will explode in ways you can't control. You project your darkness onto others. You see evil everywhere except where it actually resides, inside you. Jung said it perfectly. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Until you acknowledge and confront the shadow, you are its slave. You will continue to repeat the same destructive patterns, choosing people who hurt you, sabotaging your own success, and running from love and happiness because deep down, you don't believe you deserve them. But there is another way. Instead of trying to destroy the shadow, you can choose to confront it and integrate it. Because the shadow isn't just about destruction. It holds tremendous power, raw, primal energy that can transform your entire life if you have the courage to face it. Most people spend their lives trying to fit in. They try to please their parents, meet societal expectations, and twist themselves into shapes they were never meant to be. They do this to avoid the terrifying possibility of discovering who they really are. Jung called this the absence of individuation. It's the process that's killing you slowly. Individuation isn't about living your best life or manifesting abundance. It's about something much deeper. It's the intense, often painful process of becoming a complete human being. It's confronting your shadow, integrating your opposites, and reconnecting with your soul. It's about stopping the act, taking off the mask, what Jung called the persona, and discovering the true self that lies beneath. Individuation means dying to the person you thought you were and being reborn into something more authentic. It's the collapse of your ego, the breaking of your illusions. It's facing parts of yourself that you've denied for decades. And when you do, you'll realize something profound. You're neither as good as you hoped, nor as bad as you feared. You'll discover that your light and your darkness, your strength and your fragility, your courage and your cowardice, they all exist within you simultaneously. And that, my friend, is the truth of who you are. But here's the hard truth. This process is painful. It's not easy. It requires you to let go of the lies that have kept you surviving. It demands that you stop blaming others and start taking responsibility for your own life. It requires you to stop living for acceptance and start living for wholeness. Individuation doesn't happen overnight. It reveals itself through crisis, loss, and breakdowns. Each time something in you dies, a belief, a relationship, an identity, something new can be born in its place, but only if you're brave enough to face the chaos. Jung said, "The encounter with the self is always a defeat for the ego." Most people can't handle this. They'd rather cling to the comfort of their illusions than face the truth. But for those brave enough to confront the darkness, something invaluable is revealed. Freedom. While modern psychology often dismisses dreams as nothing more than random brain activity, Carl Jung saw something extraordinary in them. He believed that dreams are not meaningless. They are the language of the unconscious, the voice of your soul. Every night, when you sleep, something deeper within you awakens. The unconscious mind begins to speak, but it doesn't use words. Instead, it communicates through symbols, images, and stories that may seem strange or illogical, but are never without purpose. Jung's discovery was profound. He realized that dreams are not just random images. They are meaningful messages from the unconscious, messages that seek to restore balance when the conscious mind strays too far from its true essence. Your unconscious sends you these symbols as warnings, guidance, and invitations to return to your center. It speaks to you through the very symbols that have lived in the collective unconscious for centuries. The symbols of humanity, lions, snakes, water, fire, represent powerful forces, both within and outside of us. They hold deep meaning, and their message is meant to bring you back to your true self. Think about the dreams you've had. Have you ever dreamt of falling, losing control? Or perhaps your teeth falling out, symbolizing feelings of powerlessness? These dreams aren't random. They are your unconscious trying to communicate with you, trying to tell you something about your current state of being. Why do certain symbols appear repeatedly in your dreams? It's not a coincidence. These symbols are part of the archetypes of the collective unconscious, and they appear in your life when the unconscious mind needs you to pay attention. Jung understood the importance of these symbols. He believed that each symbol carried energy, purpose, and a deep message. Lions represent raw power. Snakes symbolize transformation and healing. Houses reflect your inner self. Mirrors show you what you don't want to see. Water represents the unconscious itself, and fire signifies passion or destruction. These symbols are alive with meaning, and they have the power to help you understand parts of yourself that remain hidden from your conscious awareness. But the real question is, are you listening? Most people ignore their dreams. They push them aside as mere figments of the imagination, brushing off their significance. But when you ignore your dreams, you ignore your soul. You disconnect from the very compass that could guide you to wholeness. Without the guidance of your dreams, you drift through life, lost, anxious, and disconnected from your deeper self. Dreams are your psyche's way of trying to restore balance, to bring you back to your center, but only if you are willing to listen. Jung's work on dreams was a game changer in understanding the unconscious mind. He didn't just interpret dreams as a therapeutic tool. He saw them as essential to understanding who you are, where you've been, and where you're going. The more you ignore your dreams, the further you drift from yourself. But if you take the time to record your dreams, analyze their symbols, and face the messages they hold, you'll begin to uncover truths about yourself that your conscious mind could never uncover. Have you ever felt like you weren't truly yourself? Like you were living a life that didn't feel authentic, as if you were following a script that someone else wrote for you? Maybe you keep attracting the same type of relationships, the same kind of pain, or the same kind of situations that leave you feeling stuck. Jung understood why this happens. It's because living inside of you are invisible characters, psychic forces that not only influence your decisions, but direct your entire life. These forces are called archetypes. Archetypes aren't learned ideas. They are ancient patterns that you are born with. They are universal structures of the psyche that have existed as long as humanity itself. Archetypes shape your behavior, your emotions, and your personal story. The hero seeks to overcome challenges and achieve something great. The wise old man searches for truth and understanding. The mother nurtures and protects. The lover seeks connection and passion. And of course, the shadow, the dark part of yourself that you reject. These archetypes aren't just theoretical concepts. They hold real power. When one archetype dominates your psyche, it can literally possess you. It takes control of your consciousness and drives your actions without you even realizing it. That's why sometimes you act in ways that feel foreign to you, like you're not in control of your own choices. Certain relationships can pull you into patterns that feel scripted, as if you're playing a role in a story you didn't write. People who constantly try to save others, even at the expense of their own well-being, are often possessed by the hero archetype. Those who are always seeking approval and fearing rejection are trapped by the wounded child archetype. Some individuals are drawn to chaos and destruction, dominated by an unintegrated shadow. Archetypes aren't inherently bad, but when they're unconscious, they enslave you. When recognized and integrated, they empower you. The key to freeing yourself from their grasp is awareness, learning to identify which voice is speaking inside you, which archetype is running your life, and which mythical force is influencing your relationships and reactions. The choice is yours. Will you remain a character in someone else's story, or will you become the author of your own? The process of individuation is the key to breaking free from these unconscious forces. It's about becoming aware of the archetypes that are shaping your life and choosing to integrate them rather than letting them control you.